Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ben from UnitedQ. It's Wednesday, which means we have another awesome podcast to get you over hump day. I'm here with my co-host, Dan.
Hey!
We're brought to you by ProQ, Barbecue Gourmet, Kamado Joe, and Smokewood Shack, our awesome sponsors. ProQ is dedicated to providing you with quality smoking products with top-notch service and free advice for beginners to pitmasters. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under ProQ Smokers. So if you're thinking about buying your first smoker, wanting to upgrade, or looking for charcoal cabinet smokers, then check them out over at Max Barbecue. Barbecue Gourmet is devoted to promoting real barbecue and supplying the UK and Europe, top championship-winning barbecue rubs, sauces, marinades, and accessories from the United States and around the world. You can find them on Twitter and online under Barbecue Gourmet. So regardless of how you cook, whether it's on charcoal, wood, gas, or electric, the real taste of barbecue can be yours all year round. And Kamado Joe is renowned for build quality and innovation. From smoking, roasting, or searing, Kamado Joe is the premium ceramic grill chosen by Michelin star chefs and barbecue enthusiasts alike. Get that great barbecue taste and keep the moisture locked in. Check out kamadojoe.co.uk plus Facebook and Twitter. And on today's show we have John Gower. Hi John, you alright?
Hi, how are you? All right?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Hi John, how's it going?
Great. It's all good here. Nice, bright, sunny day.
Yeah, you're out on the farm, are you?
I'm down in one of the fields cooking a big pot of pork, milk braised pork steaks for a job we've got coming up.
Wow, so we've caught you actually on the job, have we?
Yeah.
So
got a little fire going, nice big cast iron pot.
So are you recipe development or actually cooking for the event now?
Yeah, we're cooking for the event, but I mean, we cook this one. It's nice if it cools in its own sauce, and then we reheat and thicken the sauce for the service. So that'll be an event for the day after tomorrow.
Cool. So what did you say that was?
It's a Tuscan-inspired pork steak. It's a pork shoulder steak that's you sort of sear it with garlic and butter, and then you braise it in milk and thyme and a little bit of lemon zest.
Awesome. Sounds nice. I've never tried that before.
Yeah, we did a version of it actually at Grillstock. We called it the Copper Burger because it's come out of the money muscle. And they went down really well, really tender, really succulent.
Awesome.
Nice eating.
So how would you say you're cooking it? What's your barbecue that you're doing it on?
I'm actually doing it all in one big pot on a fire. So I seared the steaks off in garlic and butter, got a bit of colour on them, bronze them off, and then you add milk, thyme, and a bit of lemon zest, and you just cook them really slowly, just almost covered in milk, so they just slowly tick away, and cook them for about 2 hours, and then the nice thing is to then let them cool in the sauce so that they stay really moist, and then you whip them out, reduce the sauce down so you get a really nice thick, fragrant gravy, and then put the steaks back in just to warm them through. It's a good dish. It's a great winter dish.
Does it stay looking like quite white in colour then?
It goes a kind of pale gravy, kind of like a white wine gravy looking. There's a point when you add the lemon zest where it looks like it's gone wrong, but you have to stick with it. It's worth it in the end because it'll curdle a little bit when you're cooking, and it gets a bit thick. And then after it's cooled down, you just reduce the sauce, and it makes a lovely thick sauce to go with the steaks.
Interesting. Definitely going to give that a go.
Yeah, no, it's well worth it. And I think a lot of people can buy the collar mussels. Obviously, we harvest them from the pigs, but you can buy the collars separately. A lot of people use that for their barbecue competitions, I think.
Cool. You've just got a Canai fireball, Ben, haven't you? So that'd be a cool recipe to try.
Yeah, definitely do it on that, wouldn't it?
Or like Dutch oven sort of thing would be kind of cool for that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great kind of one pot. You build it all in the dish, and then just let it sort of tick away. It's a lovely little dish.
Yeah. Do you put a lid on it, or do you just keep it open?
I keep it open. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of paper in the dish just to kind of keep it going to stop it drying out too much. But, little cartouche never hurts.
Yeah, definitely. I might
and
give
it
that
looked
a go
great
on the
with
camera.
it looked till down. It looks especially good with some flowers around the edge.
Yeah, I bet.
Now we're talking. Now I'm
Yeah,
interested.
No, he's hooked now. He's back in the room.
My ears just packed up. I had Jazzy Flowers.
Yes. Right. Well, I think we've dived straight in here without really talking about who you are and where you're from, because we've got all excited about the fact you're actually cooking, and now we're both hungry and we want to start eating. So you're from?
I'm on the farm.
Yeah. Tell us about the farm.
Tell us about you and the farm.
Little farm, North Devon. I grew up about half a mile away. I've been down here since I was about 9. Grew up on a little farm in the village. Then when my parents passed away, I found a bit of land just outside the village, and we were really blessed, to be honest. It was a piece of land that hadn't been farmed for about 40 years, so it's very wild, lots of wildlife, lots of kind of overgrown hedgerows, and we just started work on it, built a house, built a barn, built a farm basically from scratch, and it's been a really nice, a lot of hard work, but a really nice adventure. The kids have all loved it growing up here.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's hard, watching my parents work very hard in farming. It's hard to make a living. So we were always more interested in the food side, in a small farm that could do things with what it grew, turn them into product. That's where I started doing the specialty sausages and the charcuterie that we do. But from there, it led into event catering and restaurant supply. Just trying to do something imaginative with what we've got seasonally, using all the bits of the animal, the nose to tail type approach with whatever we're doing, and that makes it more enjoyable. You're not doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah,
and
you did nose to tail and from field to table as well.
Yeah.
So you're doing the whole
That's
whole
it.
thing, the whole sort of shebang you're doing.
Yeah, very much. And everything we're doing has kind of grown out of that. In fact, where I'm cooking right now in the top field, I'm on the site of what will be the next year. We'll be opening a little shop and eatery and a little event venue, and that for me is kind of full circle, because it brings we spend a lot of time travelling around, cooking all over the country, and it'll be really nice to kind of bring it home, and people can come here, eat, party, enjoy, take something away, but also see, look over the vets and see the animals, see the fields, and that's definitely the way we want to go with it.
So all you need now is like your own drink as well, produced there, and you're all sorted, aren't you?
Pretty much, I think. Yeah,
Need a brewery on there.
And you can build a wall and
little moonshine still behind the shed.
Get all Donald Trumpers and build a wall around the farm and just stay in there.
That's it.
Completely self-sufficient.
It's lovely. Yeah, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I grew up down here. Beaches, choice of beaches, not far away. The moors behind me. I'm happy here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds amazing there.
Yeah, being Devon boys ourselves, we're quite happy to be here too.
Yeah.
yeah, you can't beat it down here.
So what animals and stuff have you got on the farm?
We're mainly pigs. We produce a lot of pigs, but poultry as well. So chickens, geese, ducks, turkeys, all to order. And we have goats. We have a boar goat herd for meat. And then we've done a little bit of beef every now and again, but we're just looking now to move into some aged beef. So we're going to have low numbers, but we're going to keep them a nice long time and go for some aged.
What sort of aging process are you going to go for?
We're just going to go with keeping them a nice long time. Not kill at about 5 years old.
Okay.
So that we get, and that's kind of the approach we've taken with the pigs as well.
Yeah, so more mature.
Pigs and chickens are always popular because the way they are naturally, but also the way they've been bred, is to put on a lot of weight quite quickly. So they're kind of economically quite good for farmers. But we're all about taking our time. Our pigs grow for a year, sometimes more, and we don't rush anything. And that's where the flavour is. They're.
So what sort of difference as a end user would we sort of see between sort of I don't know what you would say, a juvenile pig to a more mature and less rushed?
For me, it's all about the flavour. We don't feed any concentrates. Our pigs are foraging in the woods, in the fields. So they've got a really varied diet. They put on their weight very slowly. The meat matures, so you get a really nice texture. You get great flavour, great colour, much more intramuscular fat. And I would say, people always say, what breed pigs do you have? We have all sorts of breeds. And the breed, to me, is less important than their age and what they've been fed and how they've been looked after. You keep a pig in a kind of natural environment for a nice long time. It'll reward you with deep red meat, really great flavour. It'll retain its moisture in a way that the kind of pale stuff you see in the shops just can never do. It doesn't taste of anything. So, and then that started mainly from the charcuterie side. You need that. You want an older pig. Sows and things are what people want to use for charcuterie, where they've got a nice, well-developed flavour, good size, nice intramuscular fat. So once we had started doing that and realising how good this meat is, then we just kept the same regime for the catering side. People always say, wow, pork's a meat that quite a lot of people are a bit wary of. And when you taste good pork, there isn't much better.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. So what came first for you? Were you more of a farmer or more of a cook? Was it like the farming just led you into cooking, or did you already cooking before? I think
I've always cooked, and we always cooked at home. We were, my mum and dad on the farm. We were quite self-sufficient back in the days when it was seen as a kind of funny thing to be, whereas it's kind of much more popular now. We've always lived off our own little bit of land a bit, and for me, it was a decision. It was a passion, but it was a decision, a business decision as well, to just produce the most interesting things we could from whatever we were growing, whether that be animals or crops. So
do you grow crops?
I've always loved cooking. Yeah, we've got we've got fruit and vegetables. We're just establishing. Last few years, we've been establishing a forest garden here, looking at that kind of approach of all year round, sort of low maintenance rather than annual cropping. It's trees, so we've got lots of nuts and fruits and things that we're growing that we're going to start utilising more in the restaurant side, and then maybe you'll grow annual crops underneath the trees. So.
Awesome.
It's a nice way of doing it, and that works really well with the pigs, and it works really well with the poultry. So everything's coming out of its own little ecosystem. It's a nice approach.
This is awesome already. It's very, very much like we spoke to Andy Annett last week, and it seems like he sort of has been involved in such a well-rounded sort of wealth of different things, and it's the same. The sort of vibe I'm getting from you, that I know you are like one of the key contributors in Salt Cured Pig, another forum that I participate in and you have a
Salt Cured
Pig, yeah,
Facebook group, isn't it?
Yes, all that sort of charcuterie.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's a pleasure to be involved there. John Patterson set it up, and it started off as a kind of merry little band of people, the good top quality curists from all over the world, chefs, writers, all kind of getting together to share some knowledge. And now it's massive. I mean, I don't know, now with sort of 10,000 members all over the world, and just some of the best people in the industry from every strand kind of sharing their knowledge. It's kind of like open source charcuterie. Everyone's really willing to share, really willing to teach. So you've got top butchers, top writers, top chefs, all doing great work. It's been good to be part of that, and I think that we know each other from Marcus's group. That's another one that in this country is looking to forge maybe a new way of doing things, not just typical barbecue. I say that no disparaging, but moving on from typical barbecue to just cooking outdoors.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn. So many great people doing some good things that the way everyone just shares their knowledge is really nice to be part of, you know.
Yeah, I have to check that out because charcuterie is not something that I've ever really got into, and Dan's really into it, and I've tasted some of his bacon and stuff that he's made, and it's been amazing. I really need to get around to getting into it. Well, I guess.
Yeah, once you've made your own bacon, there's no going back. You're away then.
Well, I only like his now.
yeah, no, exactly.
It is weird that how
people control, you know.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it is weird how like you can go throughout your whole life eating like I don't know, bacon from the supermarket, and then suddenly you have a go at making it yourself, and I don't know, not massively have a lot of confidence in it because it's the first time you've done it, etc. Going through the processes, using great sort of resources like Sulk Your Pig, the forum, and there's loads of stuff online to help you along the way, and always in the forums there's always plenty of help around.
Someone posted in Country Wood Smoke this weekend, I think, I'm pretty sure you commented on what he'd posted, but it was like his first time making his own bacon and cooking it up, and he was so pleased with how it turned out, and I was just like, I really need to get
No, it's so nice to see, you know. I've dropped some articles for the magazine coming out tomorrow, I think, the UK barbecue magazine on curing. So we've done some bacon stuff, we've done some ham stuff, and a pastrami sort of how-to guide, you know. And I think the more people do that, the more people learn, you know. And it's about frugality as well, you know. We're all having to watch the pennies in this day and age, and if you can produce quality food for yourself for a fraction of the price that a supermarket wants to charge you for what's a real second, third-rate product, then you know, more power to everyone. I think.
Go for it. What would be your top tip then for me if I was going to get into charcuterie? What do I need?
I think definitely start with your bacons and your hams. Get your like Dan said, get your confidence, because it is a funny area, you know. And we're battling all the time. I'm not knocking them, but there's a lot of books written and TV shows where they kind of, you know, throw some salt on it, hang it in a tree, and it'll be fine. and that worries me. It worries me, and I think it does. If people try things and they don't work, it knocks their confidence. Whereas if you learn carefully and sensibly from day one about safety and about how to do things well, you get great product, and then your confidence grows, and you feel, right, I can tackle something else. And so one minute you're bacon because it's easy, it's done in a week, and it's the best thing in the world. And then you're thinking, right, well, if I take it to the next stage and hang it to dry and get some really nice pancetta, and you learn about how a dry meat is intensifies all the flavors, and you can start using that in dishes that you know that where you would have used some maybe some weak kind of tasteless bacon before. You start using your own pancetta, hanging up in your larder. You'll never go back. And you know, solid muscles again. I'm using shoulder, the money muscle as they call it in barbecue. The copper is great for curing whole. Get yourself some nice thinly sliced meats. Impress your friends in summertime, and it is easy. It's easy if you follow the right steps carefully. Don't try and run before you can walk, but you'll soon be jogging. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think like most people's sort of main sort of holdback or concern is the sort of hygiene and food safety
storage bit
sort of side
is that
side
space
of it
takes up to do it. Does it take up a lot of space?
Yeah, but I mean, again, start small. Bacon, everyone could be making their own bacon. If you've got a fridge and you've got some Ziploc bags, you could be making your own bacon all the time. And I think that's the other thing that people, once your confidence is up, and I've seen that on the groups that we've helped with, is that you get people, instead of it being a one-off, I made some bacon once, they've got into the hang of it. It's a bit like, you know, you keep fit regime. You start doing it every week, and then that's the only bacon you eat. And that's the way to go with it.
Does it keep you fit as well, does it? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
the John Gower
That's the
diet
sort of
plan.
regime I could get into, I think. Just eat bacon.
You should release a book.
Yeah.
But you know what it's like? Habit. It's all about forming habits, forming good habits.
Yeah.
And then you'll never be without it, you know. And it's the same with the dry curing. You know, you can make a batch, and then once it's so delicious, it's all gone, and you think, oh bloody hell, it took 2 months to make. I better make some more. But if you get into the swing of it, you'll be laying down the next load before you finish the first load, and you'll never go without again.
Yeah, I need to get into it. Christmas is coming. I'll get on it over the Christmas period.
Read the barbecue mag, and that's coming out tomorrow, and you can pick up some tips.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Look at that, and Christmas. Think about curing some duck breasts and things. Lovely bit of duck prosciutto. It's easy and quick. You can do it in the fridge. Just move a few things to one side, and Bob's your uncle.
Yep, definitely give that a go.
Awesome.
Never had duck before, have you, like that, in that form?
Yeah.
Cool.
So going back to, obviously being a producer, being a foodie, when did the sort of smoking and that sort of side of things come into your life? Was that through charcuterie, and then you sort of hot smoking and stuff like that? Where did that all sort of come in?
I've been kind of live fire man more for longer. I was in a former life. I was a chippy working on construction, and I was at a show. I was at a show. Dread to think, 20 something years ago, where we were just doing set building, and Malman was there, and I remember thinking, wow, this is like campfire cooking, but taken up to the next level. It's still rustic, it's still kind of rough and ready, but it's got a little bit of refinement to it. A little bit, it doesn't mean it's got to be dull or simple. You can bring a little bit of refinement. We like to use the phrase rustic fine dining about what we do, because it isn't. I'm not a chef. I'm not classically trained, but I do like to add a bit of interest there, and I like to give dishes a twist, and that's what inspires me. But I still like cooking over a fire. And I was talking with Simon Dyer at Powderham about it. For me, I'm no good with technology, gadgets. I'm not big on that. If I need it to be cooler, I can move it further away from the fire. If I need it to be hotter, I can move it a bit closer, and that's my sort of thermostat.
I think I was thinking to myself yesterday, I feel like I've almost gone in a full circle with cooking outdoors, because I started off, I think I just had charcoal, just chuck a bag of charcoal on, get it going, cook on that. This is when I was a kid at home with my mum and dad. Then they upgraded and got themselves a gas barbecue, and that was the cool new thing to have. Everyone had that, so I had one of those. And then I kind of moved back to a Weber, and then I wanted all the cool gadgets and wanted different ways of achieving all these different things. Now, the latest thing is having a Cadai fireball, and the Asados are also popular, and you're getting back to the point where you're actually you've kind of full circle. You just want none of the cool gadgety stuff, and you just want fire and your meat there, and you just get cooking.
It's the coolest thing there is. And it's unlocking skills that we've all got already, because everyone loves a fire. Everyone loves poking a fire, moving it around, building it up, letting it die down. It's all in. It's there. We've been doing it since the dawn of time, haven't we? And I think that if you embrace that and you get used to tending fires and looking after a fire and seeing what it can do, and I love the efficiency of it. We'll light some fires, and you're using the coals for cooking off your veg, and you're using the flame for heating your hot plate, and you're using the indirect heat for cooking your meats off. So you're using the same fire and getting everything you can out of it. And I think that's what I love. The kind of smoking and the kind of more traditional barbecue stuff I've been doing for a few years, of course, but that came to me definitely later than the kind of lighting a fire and cooking over it. And don't get me wrong, I love the barbecue. Proud owner of one of your great sponsors, GFCs.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be without it. Planning to get my second one in the spring. Because it's a beast, and I love it. I love the dependability of it. Again, I haven't got any contraptions on it to control it. It's so easy. That's what you needed to do, and
you were quite brave at grill stock. You turned up never using one, and just tiny, and had brought it up on the the back of their trailer and just turned up a massive event and just sort of was like, here you go, and then you cooked like basically your whole catering job over the whole weekend on this thing you'd never used
That's
before.
how good they are, folks. Yeah. I'd never even lit one before, and then we ran it for whatever it was, 3 days solid at Grillstock, and loved it. Yeah, and you can kind of smoke roast in it as well, which suits my cookery a lot. I can do things where you can crank the heat up a bit, and it's great for catering jobs. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it to bits. And the trailer's great. And I was saying before, hats off to the guys that are going hot and fast and learning how quickly you can do stuff, and that's really helpful to people that are on a budget of time, you know. But I'm afraid I'm old school, low and slow myself. The lower and the slower, the better. I put things in the day before. I'm a great believer that if you're worried about it not being done in time, just start a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Stick it in the morning before.
I think Jackie Waite said that yesterday on the forum. I think someone posted about it going quick. She's like, guys, just put it in and chill out.
Have some patience.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's what I love about. I mean, the classic barbecue stuff. For me, that's exactly what it's all about. It's about it taking its time. It gives you time to prep all your sides and make your sauce and whatever, and just chill out.
Have a beer.
Love all that.
I have to say, I've been a bit of an advocate in sort of hot and fast, but at the same time, I do still, if I have...
It's got a time and a place, hasn't it?
It's got a time and a place, and if I do have the time and I'm prepared enough and I've already organised what I'm going to eat tomorrow, etc., then I would always prefer the low and slow cooked meats, but sometimes, like you said, it's got a time and a place, and on a Friday afternoon when I don't know what we'll have for dinner on Friday night and I pop into the butcher's and they've got some beef ribs there going, then hot and fast sometimes has its place. But yeah, I am 100% with you that low and slow for me still is the preferred method.
I also think that there's, and I'm not knocking anyone. I mean, it's all great food. It's great methods to cook. I'm not saying one method over another is better. I'm just talking about what I like doing. But likewise, I'm a massive braising fan, and I think it gets a bit of a poor press because people see it as almost like a cheat. If you're learning the ropes in smoking and barbecue, then it's almost like somehow a cheat to put it in a tray with some liquid and and sort of speed things along a bit. But I love it. We did beef ribs yesterday in red wine. I love that. I leave it open, let it get some smoke, and then cover them up with a red wine in there and some stock veg, and then out come the ribs. Put the pan straight on the heat and thicken everything up. There's nothing I like better.
Yeah, it's just a different style of cooking, isn't it? There's nothing to criticise over it. It's just that's one way of cooking them.
Exactly, and I think for people that are new to it all and they're trying to perfect certain things, and I think sometimes they put themselves under too much pressure, they ought to actually relax and think, it doesn't always have to be just like that or like this. There's no right and wrong, Just try all sorts. And my own inspiration is, I would say, has a Latin flavour. I love a lot of the Central and South American cooking. I like a lot of the Southern European styles, and that's what I tend to, when I'm putting recipes together for catering, I tend to go to those places to look for my inspiration. But there's so many ways of cooking this stuff, and you never need to eat the same thing twice. If you look at the world of cooking over fire or with smoke, it's all there, and people just need to experiment, surprise themselves.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where you're adding little flowers around the edge of the plate, and it's all.
Yeah. And then you're jazzy like Dan.
Jazzing it up, exactly. Yeah, no, it's great, and I would say that's definitely where my passion for cooking comes from, and it's partly again to do with the sausage business. We've got 140, 150 varieties of sausage we make, not all every week, but those are drawn from, inspired by every culture you look in the world has got its sausages. They're like a common language because it's a way of parceling some meat and some spicing you know, and all those flavours in a great little packet. And so that's led me all over the world, you know, looking at the way people do things. And while you're there, you can't help but see all the different things they're doing. Everyone uses fire. Every culture you go to, you know, you break it down, and it's about lighting a fire and cooking. I think that's for me the essence of barbecue in the broadest sense of the word, you know.
Yeah, like you say, I've just gone onto the sausages section on quietwatersfarm.co.uk, and there's British, French, German, American, Italian, North African, Spanish.
Yeah.
You've got
it's
so
endless,
many different
endless,
ones,
you know?
on there.
Yeah, and I love it, and I love the fact that you can go from one town to the next, and it'll have changed slightly because, you know, they wouldn't even think about doing it like they do over the hill there. you know, what white wine in your Toulouse sausage? You must be joking.
Yeah, exactly. So what would be your top tips then? I've been getting into making sausages quite a bit recently, and what's your top tip for making a sausage perfect?
I think it's about finding. I'm doing a workshop on this in New York in February. Is how I approach the flavouring of a sausage. Is I always think in threes. So you want to find three things that go together, and for me, that always works best. So you've got a kind of primary ingredient in terms of the flavour, the spices. Something that works well with that as a counterpoint. So, for example, we do a chocolate, beer, and pasilla, and that's the chocolate really stands out as quite an incredible ingredient in a sausage. Really nice, really dark, rich, ties all the meat flavours together really well. The beer kind of works through everything, and then the pasilla is a lovely fruity kind of heat that works really well with the chocolate, really works well with the beer. So always try and find three things. One to give it a little kick, one to kind of drench through the whole mix, and then something just to add a little bit of spice in there. You know, another one, Mark Sargent. I had such a great roast dinner at Mark Sargent's restaurant in Kent years ago, and it was roast pork but with Perry and star anise. And one of my favourite sausages that we make, I kind of was inspired by that meal. And it's a pork sausage with apple, with Perry, and with star anise. And it's such a good mix. It's real kind of nice, subtle flavours. They all work really nicely together. And I'd say that's the way to go. Throw away this idea of buying ready mixes, you know, and just get in there and find three things that really love each other and put them in with your sausage.
Yeah. And how do you find, what's the perfect way to get the right balance to make sure that the sausages aren't too dry? Because the first time I ever made them, when I cooked them up afterwards, I found just they felt a bit too meaty, if anything, to be honest. So what do you think went wrong there?
A lot of the American people that I work with, they're confused by the fact that a British sausage uses rusk. And they think that rusk is some sort of filler, you know, breadcrumb is some sort of filler and some sort of way of deepening things and making a sort of second-rate product. But I'm a massive believer in the right amount of breadcrumb will retain some moisture and help give it a nice bite. But to be honest, mainly it's in either the mixing or in letting the mix sit in its salt for long enough so that the things are broken down. Mm-hmm. All the moisture's getting trapped by that's what salt is amazing for. You know, that's what it's all about. The salt. What salt does to meat is the best thing that ever happened to mankind.
Yeah. So salt's not going to dry out the sausage more than.
No, because your salt will break down the proteins in the. It'll help them then retain the moisture. You know, some people say, "Oh, you've got to mix a sausage till you get all these nice white threads, and that's when you know it'll bind well and it'll stay juicy and it'll hold together." But you can achieve that with less mixing if you salt it early enough. And, I mean, you could not mix at all. If you salted the meat and left it for overnight, the salt will do the same job. It'll break down those those proteins, you'll get your nice little fibres in there, and it'll hold the moisture together. So that's what I'd say. If you've got a dry sausage
before you're stuffing it.
Before you stuff it, absolutely, yeah. And then to stuff them, not too tight, but certainly not too loose. But you want a good taste before you start.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just really into sausages at the moment. We need a sausage masterclass.
let's have a sausage masterclass. Yeah, well, let's get that together.
Yeah. Are you doing? Is that something you do? Do you do classes and stuff? Because I've noticed on the services on your page it says you're going to be doing some courses and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've done courses travelling around, and to be honest, quite a lot of the courses that I've been doing have been more in-house for trade customers. So we go into a restaurant kitchen and talk about how they can put together a little charcuterie program in-house, or how they can start making sausage. And a lot of the sausage we make, probably 75% of the sausages we make are for trade customers to pass off as their own, probably. But custom blends, something that's unique, something that's exclusive to that customer. But part of the reason we're building here, this little shop, and there'll be a kind of eating space, and there'll be a workshop space that we can use for courses, and whether that's me teaching them or other people from around the world coming to do things that'll be great for people to come and be part of. So I'm looking forward to that next year. As of late spring onwards, it'll be open for business.
Well, we'll definitely come and check that out.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm just excited about sausages. Sorry, I'm just still looking at all these. Just so many. I can't believe you come out with so many different flavours and profiles. I'm trying to think of like a combination that I can't find on here, so that I can release a UnitedQ sausage now.
Yeah, well, I'll send you some tips.
Yeah, if we wanted to buy your sausages, do we just buy them from your website, or is there shops that stock them?
We don't do any retail. We get asked quite a lot to do retail. It's not really my thing. We like to make them fresh to order, and we like to get them straight to the customer, really. So retail is all about middlemen and sell-by dates and whatnot. And we stick to that. We want it to come straight from here, really. But again, once we open the little shop here, it'll be nice. It'll be more of a traditional kind of butcher's shop. People can come and buy them, or do the mail order.
Yeah. Awesome. So your range of sauces and rubs, when did they sort of start? And you've got like 12 different rubs now on the website, and there's
I think we do about 40 now.
Wow.
But again, it's a bit like the sausages. We kind of cycle them a bit. We don't have them all on the go all the time. And we'll come up with a new one maybe for an event or for a dish, and think, wow, that's worth putting into production. So that will end up. But that all started because we were looking to add a bit of value and a bit of something different to our meat products. So we were coming up with rubs, sauces, marinades to go with our meat. And we're a small farm. We're never going to be able to provide enough meat to meet the demand. So we thought, well, maybe the best thing is to actually separate the rubs and sauces and sell them separately, so you can buy your meat from whoever your trusted butcher. A big fan of people just getting to know. Don't order off me online. Go and meet your local guy. Find good farmers, find good butchers, and buy your meat from them. But then buy our rubs and sauces to go with it.
Yeah.
and then the world's our oyster. See, we can make rubs and sauces all day long. And feed the world with rubs and sauces. So, that's become a massive part of the business.
Do any of the ingredients for the rubs and stuff come from the farm?
Some do. Less than obviously all the other dishes. We're not bound by that with the sauces and rubs. They're all made and devised and designed here, and they're all made fresh in batches every week, so that they're not full of preservatives or anything. But we always try and find the best sources. So all the chilies come from Mexico, and we got a great guy there that we know where they're coming from, and we're really happy with his the quality, and it's the same with the herbs. You know, we're really happy with the people we get the fresh and the dried herbs from. So that's the way we've kind of approached that, trying to find the best ingredients. But
yeah, definitely.
obviously some of the stuff that's in the rubs and sauces is quite out there.
Yeah,
I've got a great guy in Calabria that sends me his pepperoncino, you know, and I've grown them here, and we just don't get the sunshine. You don't get the flavour. You don't get that lovely southern Italian kind of ping that you get when you're using really nicely sun-dried peppers.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the best country for that sort of thing, is it?
And also, it's great. It's part of that. You know, brotherhood of food. You get to meet people that have given me recipes that, for me, that's part of the passion. People that I remember, and I think, wow, they cooked such a great dish, and I want to be inspired by that particular style or that recipe or that product or that herb or that spice, and get it back here, put it into something, make it part of what we do.
Yeah, I see. There's a few sauces on here that you've worked with Marcus to create. So you've got like a country wood smoke dirty based. That looks quite a nice one.
Dirty base. That was his the bright green.
Yeah.
Sort of drench for steaks, I think, was the main thing. But it's a great product, and he had this mocha rub recipe that he was using, which we kind of took to what kind of quiet waters, farmed it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Where most of our rubs are about more texture, more different things going on. So rather than everything being ground down to a powder, it's more cracked seed or whole seed, and it's lumps and bits and bobs. It's like a whole meal. Most of our rubs, it's not just about the flavour; it's about the texture as well. So I like the little pops of flavour you get when you keep certain things whole in a rub. So we kind of did a whole meal version of his mocha rub. That's a really nice one, really good.
Yeah, I like that term. Like saying it's like a whole meal. So I quite like the same thing. No. Like it's like I've found the like Szechuan peppercorns. Like when they're whole, they have like a completely different effect, don't they? So it's a nice way of like I like that whole meal rubs.
Yeah, totally. And it's the same with the mocha. You know, we use a cracked or a whole cumin seed, and you get a little hit of that. You know, when you bite into it, you get all the little flavours popping out all over the place, as well as the general kind of flavouring that it's to whatever it's on. So I'm a big fan of that.
Here's one for you. I've this weekend, we haven't tried it yet, but I've last night cold smoked some coffee beans. So,
right. Yep.
And that's my aim was to make kind of a mocha rub, but it's going to have the smokiness in it already from the smoked coffee beans. So
that's great.
I'll update you when I've tried it. I've got some here in front of me, but we've just been smelling them in the pot today.
It smells a bit weird. It's like flavours.
We'll
carry on, mate.
The barbecue forte range of.
Oh yeah.
let's get together. Let's collaborate on that.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we've got a little tub of them here actually. So we're just going to get them out and have a little sniff. It doesn't really make good podcast, but I like it. It's weird though, because it. Like you can really smell the undertone of coffee there, but the smokiness is really strong as well. So I'm torn at the moment to how well it's going to come out. But
I want to try it as coffee. I actually want to try it as
the aim originally was that we're going to make smoke.
Great.
We love coffee and we drink it all the time, and we just thought, how can we get barbecue into our coffee? So I said I'll smoke some coffee beans. So we're going to try it, but. When I've smelt them now, I'm feeling more like it could make a good rub sort of thing, I think.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. We're working at the moment with... I've sent a few samples out to a few people to get some feedback, but we're working on some rubs at the moment that are more of a seasoning salt to pair with wines. So I'm trying to find the flavours and the profiles that I think go with some of the nice wines that we use in the cooking that we do, so that you can kind of have it on the table to season your food with. And I think there's quite a lot of scope for that. It's something I've been working on for a while, but it's nearing the point where it will hit the market, I think. But
awesome.
So there's a seasoning salt that will go with a Merlot, or that will go with a Chardonnay or whatever, and it'll kind of balance off those other flavours so that you kind of bring another little level. Like you say, adding smoke to things. It's all about all the different layers you can build up, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like going that extra mile to try and like make something just taste that little bit different, a little bit better, maybe. Yeah, and for me, that's what the rubs and the sauces and the marinades are all about. It turns something that might have still been a perfectly nice bit of food into a great meal. Something that you'll suddenly remember. You think, wow, that really came alive because we just added that little extra layer. Right, well, you've got this many sausages on your website. Can you tell me what your favourite one is?
My favourite?
Yeah.
It's probably actually the mazza. The Italian, it's a really subtle one, but it's nice. Bit of orange, bit of pine nut. Really nice. Yeah, I'd say that's probably my favourite. You have to ask Marcus, he's tried most of them. When he was doing the photography, we were sending him parcels and stuff.
That was a hard job, isn't it? We've got cameras as well, if you want.
Yeah, okay, we'll spread the love, yeah. But yeah, that would probably be one of my favourites, I would think. Other than the kind of, we do one that we call an ultimate banger, and that we went to a lot of trouble with to just do a real good old-fashioned English sausage, but it is taking the extra mile. The sugars we use are very special. We toast. Funnily enough, you're talking about smoking coffee beans. We toast the rusk and we smoke the water that goes into it.
Wow!
So that it's got a real campfire smell going, and that's pretty special.
It says, I think, does it say smoked fat and wonderful golden syrup? It says here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's a lovely golden syrup we get from a supplier. It's really, really special. So that's a really nice sausage. Caramelizes really nice. You get that lovely kind of sticky, crispy outside that you always want on a banger.
Mm.
That took a long time to get right, but that's a great sausage as well for an everyday banger.
I love hearing your knowledge and sort of passion about all of the individual different sort of. I think when you come to the point of having over 100 sausages and 100 rubs and all these marinades, that you start to forget what actually goes. I mean, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So it's amazing to hear that you have so much passion for it all, and I guess that comes from being a producer as well as. So you actually produce the meat and then you actually turn it into something else, and I guess it all. I mean, your respect for the original product really comes through with the actual final products that you make from it as well.
Yeah, I think you value things, quite highly. It's also that whole approach of using everything, whether it's stocks we're making for ourselves, not wanting anything to go to waste if we can avoid it, and just giving. You've got more as a producer. You tend to have more invested in it just naturally. You knew the pig.
Yeah.
You want to give it a, what is it? Daria says, every animal deserves a good life, a good death, a good butcher, and a good cook. Yeah. And if we try and get all that on the farm.
Yeah, you're all of the above.
Yeah.
Do you do any of the butchery yourself?
Yeah, we do. Less now than I used to, but that's no bad thing. Especially with the charcuterie, there's a whole different approach to butchery where, in the butcher shop, you're tending to cut things up into primals, and that's where we get those recognisable cuts that we see. Whereas, having been doing charcuterie for so many years, it's more like beef butchery. It's more like seam butchery, where you're peeling all the different muscles apart.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of cutting through, you're kind of separating things out. Always done a lot of butchery, and love it. It's a good skill, and whether it's out shooting, knowing the anatomy of the animal, knowing how you can use bits of it. This time of year, I shoot quite a bit, and it's nice to bring some deer in or some game in, find some recipes we can do with them right back to the noble pig.
Mm. Yeah, so you've done some game sausages as well, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, we do, at the right times of the year, we do some wild duck sausage. We were doing some goose sausages, but they've got to be cooked right. And sometimes you can make a wonderful product, but you've also got to look at, is everyone going to be able to get the best out of this?
Yeah.
I had to write a little news item on the website that was like how to cook sausages, and it sounds like you're patronising people, but it's actually harder than people think to do sausages justice, especially if they're not full of phosphates and stuff that kind of helps you keep it moist.
So what is the best way to cook a sausage then?
For me, I would say, and the barbecue community is already one step ahead here, because indirect, slowly, smoking a sausage or indirect grilling is a really nice way to do it, because you're bringing it up to temperature really gently. And I think that's the key with the sausage. You don't want to shock it, melt all its fat, and you end up with a pool of fat and a dry sausage. You want to bring it up slowly, or the other one is to braise them gently, to look at cooking them with some onions or with a bit of kraut or with something like that,
like a beer
in a dish on the grill, and then just brown them off when they're done. But the key is not to get them too hot. If you want them to stay juicy, just don't get them too hot.
Okay, yeah. That's what my usual methods tend to go for, like hot-ish, smoking them until they're up to temperature, and then just browning them off at the end.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, that's the way to go. And smoked sausage, there's nothing much better. It's always the one that everyone wants when we're doing the festivals and things. You open up the trailer and there's a heap of jumbo dogs in there, all with a nice snap to them and a great colour.
Yeah.
I guess you can't beat it.
That's one part that I've just missed out on when we've talked about the sausage, is the skin, I guess. What type of skin? Because I've bought this sort of dry skin that I use, and
we use just a natural hog casing.
Yeah.
Every time. Don't go near the plastic ones.
What is it made of? Because it does feel like plastic.
The vegetarian, goodness knows what they're made of. But again, the quality varies, and I would recommend anyone making their own sausages to go and find
I think it's like
some
beef
good
collagen
skin.
or something like that.
Yeah, lovely.
I think that's
and I'm sure it's all great. It's just a perfectly straight sausage. I never trust a straight sausage. They remind me of those roller dog carts you see. Someone's got those rotating hot dogs on the.
Yeah, the cinema they have them, don't they?
yeah, exactly. You don't want to eat that. But natural casings are great, and the lamb casings for your. Obviously, we do quite a lot of lamb sausages, and the pilates. They will go in a nice little natural lamb casing.
It's good.
But yeah,
this has turned into more of a sausage cast, I think, than anything.
Sausage fest, yeah.
Yippee! Right. Well, we're approaching our hour mark, John, and I think we've covered sausages. We could probably go on and cover some other stuff, but we'll probably have to save that for another day, I'm afraid. So
yeah, no problem.
Thanks very much for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Love what you're doing. Keep it up. Good luck with the put.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Chat soon.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We've recorded yet another awesome podcast to get you over hump day. As always, we're brought to you by ProQ, UnitedQ Gourmet, Kamado Joe and Smokewood Shack, our awesome sponsors. ProQ is dedicated to providing you quality smoking products with top-notch service and free advice for beginners to pitmasters. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram under ProQ Smokers. So if you think about buying your first smoker, wanting to upgrade or looking for charcoal cabinet smokers, then check them out over at Max Barbecue. Barbecue Gourmet is devoted to promoting real barbecue and supplying the UK and Europe with top championship winning barbecue rubs, sauces, marinades and accessories from the United States and around the world. You can find them on Twitter and online under Barbecue Gourmet. So regardless of how you cook, whether it's on charcoal, wood, gas or electric, the real taste of summer can be yours all year round. And Kamado Joe is renowned for build quality and innovation. From smoking, roasting or searing, Kamado Joe is the premium ceramic grill chosen by Michelin star chefs and barbecue enthusiasts alike. Get that great barbecue taste and keep the moisture locked in. Check them out at kamadojoe.co.uk and on Facebook and Twitter. And finally, Smokewood Shack delivers quality smoking wood every time. They provide the smoky goodness, you provide the talent. So if you're looking for smoking wood chunks, dust, chips or planks, then head on over to smokewoodshack.com and you can find them on Twitter under Smokewood Shack. So goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
And I'm the best cook today, so I'm going to click the button now.
I'm the best barbecue cook by far.